Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ed Frank, and I'm the CEO of Axis Innovation, broadcasting you live from Tel Aviv, Israel. Today, we are honored to have some really exciting Italian startups and a really wide range of international investors from 6 countries as our panelists. And in the audience, we have another 75 investors from about 40 different countries around the world. I know that today Italy is going back to normal or mostly normal, so we wanted to take the discussion into a positive area and see what we can do to help Italian companies continue to grow internationally. We had this idea a few weeks ago. We were in close touch with Clelia de Consiglio from the Israel-Italian Chamber of Commerce and the Embassy of Italy in Israel. And we decided that this would be a great way of us crossing the border, helping other startups from Italy. Our company is based in Israel. We work with large corporations and startups and connect those startups globally with investors and corporations. We do a lot of work with Ford and Visa and some multinationals to help them find innovative startups around the world. So what I would like to do today is just give you the opportunity to see some exciting Italian companies. We had the chance with many applications. We decided to choose those companies based on the investors that we have participating. So without further ado, I would like to turn over the microphone to Stefano Ventura, who is the scientific attaché of the Embassy of Italy in Tel Aviv, and then my colleague Justine Olshanevsky, head of partnerships at Axis Innovation, will be moderating with our international investors and the exciting startups. We will have giving you, the audience, the opportunity to ask questions on the Q&A and chats, so we invite you to participate, and we'll be happy to give more information on the startups after the webinar. Stefano, floor is yours.
Thank you, Ed, and I'm glad to have this opportunity to address the startups, to address the investors and the audience. First of all, I want to thank Axis for this very opportune and timely initiative. It's very important for Italian startups to have this possibility. Italy is committed to innovation. The innovation ecosystem in Italy is growing up. A lot of new startups are developing, and even in this difficult time, everything is going on, and there is a strong willingness to push up with innovation. So it's very important that this is made aware to the audience, to the international audience, giving these startups an opportunity to meet international investors, to advertise themselves, to show that the environment in Italy is living, is active. But it's not only the point of startups, it's only and by the way, this is what also the embassy is doing in this period. Last year and this year, we are running acceleration periods in Israel for Italian startups to give them the opportunity to face the international challenges in a stimulating environment. But what is the plus of investing on Italian startups is the possibility to connect to the European ecosystem and to found that it's not only the point of startup, but also scale up. The possibility for the Italian startups is finding an environment in Italy where manufacturing is developed and there are the real possibilities to scale up. So a lot of Italian startups, a lot of innovation, a lot of high tech, but also the possibility to move from startups to scale up and being introduced in the market in Italy and in Europe. So good luck, and I will enjoy this afternoon listening to the presentation and listening to the comments. Thank you for this good initiative.
Thank you very much, Stefano. Hello, everyone. I'm Justine Olshaneski, as Ed said, the Partnerships and Communication Manager at Axis Innovation. It's a real pleasure for me to be with you today. Just to remind you the format of this webinar. So first, the startup will be pitching for 4 minutes. Then they will have a few questions and a question and answer from the distinguished international investor panel. So if you hear a very melodic sound like this one, thanks to my son, we'll be able to ring a bell 20 seconds before the end of the startup presentation, just to be sure to keep our tight schedule. So if you want to ask any questions to the investor or to the presenting startups, please write them in the chat box. 10 minutes before the end of this event, Ed will choose some of them and ask them to the relevant people. So stay connected until the end. So now I would like our guest investors to present themselves. So let's begin with Almudena. Almudena Trigo is in Madrid, I think, today. So please, Almudena.
Justin, thank you for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here. So BeAble is the leading Spanish venture capital in, you can hear me? It's okay?
Yes,
that's right. That's great. It's the leading Spanish venture capital in deep science. We invest in science-based companies from seed stage. We are an impact fund since we obtain returns for our investors through investing to address the paramount world challenges such as sustainability, mobility, climate change, water reduction, healthcare, etc. By doing this, we turn impact into venture capital profitability. Science is a unique source of new and disruptive technologies to tackle the sustainable development goals. And at the same time, these new technologies are key in the global market with huge growth. Currently, we have an active fund of 35 million euros. We have invested in 22 companies in these 3 years. We are very proud to have a 50% of women in C-suite roles in our portfolio, and we are now raising a second fund to scale up our impact.
Thank you very much, Almudena.
You're welcome.
Maybe now Fabio Lancellotti, who is in Paris, could maybe tell us a bit more about his work at Aster Capital.
Yes, first of all, hello everybody. Hope you hear me well, and thanks for having me. Yes, so I'm Italian, but living abroad for the last 12 years. Now effectively based in Paris, where I'm coming from. I work for Aster, which is an early stage venture investor with offices in Paris, London, San Francisco, and Tel Aviv. Aster is an early stage investor that for the last 20 years has been investing between $500,000 to $5 million per company in multiple rounds. We can start as early as a seed. We like especially founders with big, bold ambition to change, transform to digital and deep technologies, especially those traditional businesses, sectors such as mobility, industry, manufacturing, infrastructure, you name it. We truly are hands-on. We love partnering with founding teams and give them access to our network of large corporates on one end and advisors on the other side to help the founders to deal with key challenges such as hiring, marketing, business development, and internationalization. We can do that through different, some of our different teams at Aster. For instance, our corporate team can foster corporate startup collaboration. Our support team can help startups scale with mentorship and hands-on support startups need to drive ambitious results. Now, why Italy? Why am I pretty happy to be invited to this panel today? We are increasingly more interested about Italy as we see great potential in the country, especially in some sectors where Italy is renowned everywhere. And I'm actually even more interested now to see how possibly the COVID crisis can help to accelerate the digital transition in our country in the quarters and years to come. So I'm really looking forward to hear about the founders, what they have to, in their hands.
Thank you, Fabio. Thank you very much. So now, Peter Lasinger, maybe you can just give us some words about your work at Capital 300.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm Peter. I'm the founder and partner of Capital 300. We are a Vienna, Austrian-based venture capital fund with around $50 million under management. We invest in Series A companies in Central Europe. We always invest together with top-tier US and UK funds, also because of history of my co-partner in the fund. We are conviction-based investors, so out of the fund, we won't invest in more than 10 to 15 companies, so very selected, where we can work with the entrepreneurs to really help them scale businesses globally. Everybody in the team has been an entrepreneur before or worked for a startup. I think that's also important to mention. So we really try to live what we teach and preach, and have been through a lot of the situation you might experience or have experienced. So I'm looking very much forward to this panel. We invest cross industries. We focus on software deep tech companies.
David, now we can just tell us shortly what you are doing. I think we will have to go faster on the presentation because we really have to talk to the startups. So please, David Fogel.
I'll be brief. So hi everybody, the name is David, usually based in the UK, today broadcasting from Thailand. Don't ask, it's a different story. Bottom line, founded ADV, raised 150 million pounds to invest in early stage startups across the UK. And about a year ago, just under, founded Alma Angels, which is a diverse community of angels looking to back super ambitious female founders. ADV itself invests mainly and predominantly in UK-based companies. So I'm here to support, help, and see how I can add value.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, David. So Sergey Gribov now from Flint Capital, please.
Hi, Sergey Gribov, Flint. I'm partner with Flint Capital. We early stage international fund. We differ from most of venture funds in the sense that we run completely distributed shop. So we 3 partners. I'm in Boston, and now one in Silicon Valley, and third one in Europe. We also have office in Israel and principal there. So we have a bunch of offices, not more than 2 people per office. We on a second fund now. We do early stage anywhere from seed to A rounds, checks from $500,000 to like 3-4 million. All of us operators in the past were all kind of been in founders' shoes. We usually try to help with everything which relates to like coming from American market. We do invest a lot in Israel, some investments in Europe. We fairly active. Out of like 9 companies in second fund, 6 we led deals, so we lead the deals, we sit on boards. And in terms of sectors, we fairly generic. Within IT, we have both B2C and B2B companies, digital health, fintech, cyber, DevOps, voice technology.
Okay, thank you very much, Sergey. So now to finish with our international panel, please, Melissa Guzy, could you give us some words about what you're doing at Arbor Ventures?
Sure, thanks, Justina, and also thanks to Ed. I run Arbor Ventures. We're a $400 million fintech fund. I normally am living in Singapore, which is my background, but I've been on lockdown in the US. Don't ask. Pretty similar story to David, how I got stuck here, but hope to return at some point. We actually invest globally. So 1/3 of the portfolio is Israel and Dubai. 1/3 of the portfolio is Asia, and 1/3 is the United States. We like to invest in areas that are underinvested, especially around financial services. So that was part of my interest in participating today, is to hear what's going on in Italy from the startups. And I'm sure that innovation will be far more distributed going forward in the future than where it has been in the past.
Thank you very much, Melissa. So now we'll begin with the startup presentation. I would like to invite Mirko Lally, who is the CEO and founder of the data appeal company, to begin the presentation. So we are going for 4 minutes. Please.
Can I start?
Yes, sure, please.
Good morning, everybody. We are an Italian company, and please skip the next slide. And we are an AI data company, and we collect and analyze any data related to customer perception of every territory and every point of interest worldwide. Next slide. We are 5 years old company, and we make a huge pivot at the end of last year, because we started as a travel appeal and very focused on the travel sector. Then after a Series A backed by Indaco, there is the first Italian fund, and Arbor, that is a Dutch venture capital. We move and we expand, we broadened the company scope, and we started working also outside the travel sector. I will explain later. Our main client today are a financial institution, of course, travel and tourism, but financial institution and real estate are very relevant for our revenue today. We are, we are still a small company, about 2 million turnover of the last year. Next slide. What we do exactly? We collect and analyze all the information that you can find online that could impact in the decision of the people. So we collect together more than 129 channels, all the reviews, all the social media conversation, prices, weather, events, and we crunch all together with a proprietary technology. We analyze the meaning with a semantic engine, with several semantic engines. It's completely a proprietary technology that we realized, that we built, and we extract value from all those information. Next slide. We collect all those data, and the uniqueness of what we do is that we mix together geographical data, online feedback, context information, and behavioral data. Next slide. Of course, we started with travel because the so-called feedback economy, just think to the reviews, are so relevant in that sector. But we move faster in other sector because, for example, the financial institution was very interested to understand the digital positioning of any customer, of any companies that is active in customer-facing business. Next slide. We have 3 key markets. We already are active around Europe. First is the business information for any companies, especially for financial institution, is becoming more and more relevant. The 2 most important banks in Italy are our clients today, and we are growing fast for that because we can provide also perception and predictive information about the business will go. It's very easy to understand why, because if you have very good reviews and you are very good at communicating in digital space, you will have much probability to make more revenue. So this is the reason why. Customer facing business, we can provide all the same exactly the same data. We have just one data lake to each single business, and we are doing that. And the third one is very fresh even for us, is the real estate space. Our main client is JLL, that I don't think need any type of presentation. Next slide. Why now? And I'm closing because everything is accelerating to the digital, and because even in that period, very critical period, everybody will increase the use of digital reference for that. Next slide, and I close with that. That year will started very well, and we are growing despite the COVID-19, and we are planning to grow up to secure a Series B round in the next 18 months. Next slide, please. And here you can see a projection of our revenue for the next 3 years and the goal for the next years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mirko. So now maybe Melissa, you maybe have a question?
Sure, thank you. The excellent presentation. Two questions actually. One, do you have specific data packs for different industries? So for the financial institutions, have you developed a specific data pack and specific data sources that are used for them?
Actually, no, because we have, how we proceed. We map a country, so we collect all the business, every point that you can find in a map. We make the first mapping of all the point. Then we reconcile for each of that point the perception information. So, for example, if you have we collect all the hotels, all the restaurant, all the museum, all the shops, retail in a city. Then for each of them, we reconcile the TripAdvisor channel, Google, Facebook, and several of other channels. We collect all the data, all the public data, and we build a map of perception, the reputation for several channels. That data is aggregated data is already relevant because is your digital positioning and it's a predictive for your revenue. For example, with one of the most important Italian bank, they are using that data to integrate their credit score officially. So with a official project to the BCA, to the Central Bank of Europe, just to be approved as an integration of the rating score of the bank.
Okay, maybe Melissa, can you speak? You have an issue with your mic, it's okay? Did you? Okay, so maybe, do you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, David, do you have a question? Or Sergey?
Yeah, I was thinking about from the perspective of current situation. I assume you're still trying to attract new clients. Is there any insight or a way that your product can add value to corporates, let's say banks, at this specific moments that you can actually use that to sell faster, or is it more kind of on the backlog?
Yeah, it's a hand-to-hand tool. So we have our data lake with all the data, and we have an ecosystem of API when anybody can connect and extract the data. And on top of that API, so it's a very solid technological stack, we have also some SaaS product for specific business. So exactly the same data, we can deliver the same data to each single business, and you can buy it online, and we can deliver the data through the API, aggregated data or single data to financial institution or other type of companies, for example, business information. Why I'm introducing that? Because we are already using our tool and our data to understand how to, start over from the current situation. Because you can, for example, understand when people start thinking again and are moving again, how people are perceiving you when it's changing the perception of security through social media data, for example, when if you open again, when, for example, a real case, today in Italy, the restaurant.
We have to go shorter. I'm very sorry for that.
Okay, yeah, it's using, we can use it for the data for planning for starting over for the actual situation.
Okay, thank you very much. It's very interesting. So if you have any question, please share them with us on the chat. Now I would love to invite Giulietta Testa, who is the CEO of Djungle, to make her presentation. So please, Giulietta.
Yes. Okay, so pleased to meet you. Hello, everybody. I'm Giulietta Testa, CEO of Djungle, and this is Adriano, my personal assistant. He will give us some insights during the presentation. Next. So, what do you consider remarkable in life? When we started working on Djungle, we wanted to use digital to impact in people's life. Not very big issues, but to bring some color and fun in people's daily routine. So actually quite a big issue. And actually we started with shopping. That is one of the most common activities that people do. Looking at retail, we saw two main big problems that are having negative impact both on business and users. Retailers spend billions in customer acquisition with the retention rate very low. There is no real knowledge about customer behavior and preferences. And on user side, there is no real connection, no engagement. Most of the marketing is about screaming loud, about discount and sales. Next. So we as Djungle, we make shopping more fun. We understand how people engage, and we have a technology system based on gamification and loyalty, Total Mobile, to increase the shopping and reduce the cost for retailers. We launched it with one of our international clients, Flying Tiger Copenhagen. We got brilliant results on 60 stores in the north of Italy, and now we are ready to scale up on a group level the solution. Next. Our solution is based on 3 core assets. We have Jungle culture, our team. We are Navy SEALs team. We are experienced in co-design end-to-end digital experience. Then we own the intellectual property of the Jungle engine, that is our tech core asset. And then Jungle intelligence, so for data collection and eye profiling about customers. Next. Our asset and methodologies are scalable across different markets. We started with retail, then we move also in other communities vertical, so smart city, mobility, entertainment. We are working with international clients. For smart city, we're working on Brazil and India. And we have validated different business models from revenue share to monetized profile leads. Next. We are operational break-even since October 2019. This year we will hit 1 million revenues. We expect a slowdown this year for retail for COVID-19, but still we also expect positive growth on retail because the retail will be one of the most sector that we will need to go digital in the next future. So now we are looking for extra funds to give a boost to our commercial activities and the internationalization on our clients, and invest in our technology platform to reduce cost, be faster in customer acquisition, and also get the customer on as a service model. Next. This is the team that make it possible. We invested on a senior team. We all know each other since years. Many of us have between 10 to 20 years of experience in the digital space. We got all the competencies in one team. So from business to software development, user experience and gamification, agile processes. For example, we have Jacopo Romei, he also wrote many books on agile. So we have an internal coach on these methodologies. And yeah, this is the team.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Giulietta. So Almudena, if you have a question, please. Or maybe Sergey, I'm sorry.
Sure. So question, there are like lots of different engagement and loyalty platforms. There are like from like really small ones, which doesn't allow you much of kind of custom features to like really big ones like IBM, where you can, just to start the project, you have to invest like millions of dollars in it. Where do you see yourself in like all this spectrum of different solutions, and what's kind of the competitive advantage related relative to a bunch of other platforms you have?
Well, we invest a lot in increasing the touch point with the user because we combine both digital and physical. So with sensor in store and all the digital experience on the app, where we also collect data from user from different sources, because we reward user if they perform activities on social networks during the stores, playing surveys or games through the app. So collecting a lot of data about the user both on the digital world and on the physical world. And the second point we are putting in evidence is that we really, I would say, we marry our clients, because we even are able to invest in a revenue share model, because we are so sure that actually a well engagement system works, that we are willing to take the risk with our clients and just take a piece of the revenues.
Okay, thank you. And Almudena, do you have a question?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Giulietta, for your talk. It seems that the main growth of your company comes from other sector different to the B2B as before. So you want to raise an investment of 1.5 million euros. Which type of investor do you think will be the best one for the growth of your company?
Well, actually, they are all B2B, still in another sector from retail, but in the smart city space, the entertainment, they are all B2B clients. We give an instrument for their community to monetize the community, let's say. So for us, for sure, someone interested in the retail market can be a good fit, but we have a broad view on community engagement. So any investor that actually is interested in boosting the digitalization of communities.
That's perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Giulietta.
Thank you very much, Giulietta. Before going to our next presentation, I would just like to thank our sponsors, DLA Piper and Jeremy Lussman, who are our partners based in Tel Aviv, and who is very happy to connect with you here on the chat. And also they have offices in Rome and Milan. So if you want any more information, please feel free to ask us. So now I would like to invite Simon Botto, the CEO of DayBreak Hotels, to speak.
Hi, everyone. Before moving on and telling you more about DayBreak, let me tell you who we are. Next slide, please. We're a team of 20 people. We're based in Rome, 6 nationalities, a lot of experience from the travel sector, both in our management team, from people coming from Expedia, and among our investors. We have a CEO of Last Minute, and the founders of Venere, which is an Italian OTA that was sold to Expedia for 200 million 2 years ago, among our investors. Next slide, please. So now let me tell you about the problem we're trying to tackle. So we actually think that the definition of hotel, just as a place for travelers to sleep, is actually wrong and is self-limiting the industry. In fact, generally occupancy rate in hotel rooms worldwide is around 65%. That means that 1 out of 3 rooms remain empty every night. That's 2.5 billion rooms remaining empty every year, and 300 billion in value of unsold rooms. Actually, excess capacity in hotel services is even worse, with asset utilization ranging between 20 and 50%, and 350 billion of unsold services, which are actually services, day services sold to night customers. Next slide, please. So actually, our mission is to redefine the concept of hotel and untying it from the idea of tourist only and overnight. In fact, a hotel, which after all is just a piece of real estate with a number of services, if we actually take these services and start offering them to new customers like city residents or day trip travelers, we unlock new customer segments, we increase asset utilization, and we also reduce seasonality. So a lot of international chains with which we've been working for a number of years have recently been quite vocal in making the local strategy a core point of their strategy. Here we have the CEO of Accor, Sébastien Bazin, actually saying, "My hotels are open 24/7. We have been actually missing a population 100x greater than the traveler," which is the guy living next door. Next slide, please. And even more today in this new COVID-19 scenario, in which hotels are obviously having even lower occupancy rate in their hotels and are looking for new revenue streams. The use of a hotel room as a temporary office for people that want to work remotely but that cannot or does not want to work from home and is looking for a safe and quiet place to work from is actually becoming a strong trend. And we're working a lot with chains in these days actually to strengthen their offer on that part. Next, please. So yeah, so what did we do? We actually built the first tech platform that allows hotel to sell rooms and ancillary services offered during the day individually or bundled together to a new set of customers. So people can book day rooms generally available for 6 to 8 hour slots at 50% of the night price, alone or together with other services. And by doing so, the hotel transforms itself either in a temporary office or in a vacation destination. So next slide, please. So if we look at KPIs, what did we do? So we work with all international chains and independent hotels. We have affiliated over 4,000 hotels. 100 plus new hotels join every month, 30% coming from spontaneous requests. We bring them 10 to 20% in incremental net profit because our revenue goes straight to the profit line. We launched luggage storage services as the last operator, but we're already the third one by number of storage locations. On next slide, please. On the demand side, we cover 16 markets. We have brought in 15 million in incremental profit to our partner hotels. We make money by a 15 to 30% dynamic commission on rooms and services. 70% of bookings come from returning users and from cheap channels. We have a 96% customer satisfaction, 99% intention to book again, 70 net promoter score.
I'm sorry.
We're just raising a new round. We're just raising a new round to validate B2B distribution, and which is over 50% already committed.
Thank you, Simon. So we'll stop on these great numbers. Melissa, if you have a question.
Yes. So Simon, just a question. How do you know the availability? Are you locked? Are you into their connected to their IT systems that shows you real-time availability?
Yeah, so we built the platform and we're connected. We integrate with over 25 channel managers and also with a number of PMSs. So yes, hotels generally know their availability by statistical data, but they can upload their inventory directly from the channel manager that they use for the night business. Okay. So there's a key difference that we sell very last minute. So they're actually able to take the really unsold inventory and load it on our platform for distribution.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a question? Or maybe David? Okay, so if there...
My question, just on a high level, if you look at what startups mainly do sometimes, it's basically unbundling the service of hotels. And it seems like you're bringing everything back and trying to empower them. Why do you think a decade from now you'll still be alive? And this is not a, what if question just to throw it out, but predominantly everybody's going to unbundle the ecosystem. Why do you think your move will actually work? What's unique about bringing it together, making hotels still be alive?
Yeah, actually, the hotel nowadays, the whole tech platform, so the central reservation system, the property management, the channel manager, the OTAs, the only thing they distribute is night rooms. So the whole infrastructure is distributing only night rooms. So we actually unbundle the hotel by allowing them to offer their services that today are offered only to night customers at the moment they check in, to a number of other customers. So actually, through our platform, you can go in any hotel and pick actually the services that we want. Today, the hotel services are bundled together in their night offer and offered only to the night customer. So we wanted the hotel to be like a flexible space that by allowing the customer to choose whether they want a meeting room, and a business lunch, and a day room, or they just want a spa and an evening room, can transform itself into like a business location and we work kind of offer, or in a experience, you know, club, get your guide, high-end hotel experience. So we actually offer on demand all the services, and we leave to the customer to pick what they want.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you very much. So now I would like to go to LMI's and its CEO, Nicolo Teodori. Bevakasha, please. Sorry, speaking your move.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, please. You can begin.
Thanks for having me here. And also I have to say special thanks for my girlfriend for giving me the opportunity to shave my beard, which is something I don't do very often in this period. So next slide. At LMI's, our mission is to transition towards an energy system made 100% from renewable and clean energy resources. We want to do that by eliminating energy bills for those investing in energy efficiency, and in particular, starting from residential solar customer. Next slide. So brand new rules in Europe, but also in other advanced economies, allow to improve the profitability of solar panels right now. What you probably don't know is that only 5% of total potential rooftops have solar panels right now. And this is because mainly of two reasons. Because, I mean, early adopters and the late majority, they cannot understand solar and they cannot trust their vendors. Next slide. And this is because right now, if you want to go solar, you basically have to become an engineer. You have to understand your electricity bill. You have to understand how to exploit your solar production, how many revenues you will get from feeding the electricity back into the grid. And this is a mess. Next slide. So we aim to disrupt this. Our customers, when going solar and subscribing to our plans, simply stop paying their energy bills. So if you want to understand if it's convenient, you just take the last bill you had and you do the last bill minus our subscription plan in order to understand how much you will save every month. And this makes it much more simpler. Next slide. So how can we do that? Thanks to LMI's platform. LMI's platform allows us to coordinate thousands of homes to offer services to the grid operators as they were a traditional power plant. This way we are able to improve the profitability of each system, and this allows us to pay our customers' bills. Next slide. We started that journey to partnering with utility giants. We had a seed round back in 2018. And last year we closed a contract for the first and one of the world's most important virtual power plants, which is exactly what I was talking about earlier. So in northern Italy, we manage hundreds of homes to sell services to the grid operator, and our customer is NLX, which is one of the biggest utilities worldwide. But this year we aim to launch the first solution that actually eliminates completely the electricity bills. We are not looking into selling hardware. We are looking in the future to embed our software into any solar and battery inverter worldwide. This will help inverter manufacturers sell better and will help LMIs grow faster. Next slide. So what we need to make this real is three things, basically. It's partnering with inverter manufacturers, it's contracts from grid operators, and an investment in business and technology development. This is the two of us, co-founders. We have other three people in the team. And if you think you can help us with these three things, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. I will be happy to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nicolo. So if Peter or Fabio have a question?
Yes, thanks, Nicolo, for the presentation. My question would be, where is the heavy lifting done? So I assume you need like smart meters or whatever at the customers' houses to basically be able to basically calculate and basically do the prediction models. So what kind of infrastructure do you need, or do you deploy, or can you build on existing infrastructure that there is?
Yeah, actually what I do is just to connect to the solar inverters, which is the machine that actually controls the panels and the batteries. And I read any data from the inverters and I actually can control it. LMIs as a tech company, as it's been so far, is the company who controls more residential solar inverters than anybody in the world, because this project in northern Italy allowed us to standardize the way we control dozens of brands of residential solar inverters. So we know how to do it.
Thank you very much. Before going to the next presentation, I would love to just raise the poll that we just had. I see that we have a lot of people into culture in the audience, because 78% of the people found the good answer. So the David statue from Michelangelo is in Florence in the Galleria della Accademia. So thank you for the ones who participated and for the great answers. So now please let me introduce Bella Chica, who is the CEO and founder of Find My Lost. Please, Elena.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so my name is Elena Bella Chica. I am the CEO and founder of Find My Lost, which is the first digital loss property tool for business and consumer. Next. We are a startup based in Milan, so in Italy, but we have already started a presence in UK. At the moment, we offer this service to business clients in the tourism, mobility, and municipality sector. This means airport, buses, train, hotel, car sharing, car rental. And we have raised 200,000 euro in 2017. So it was our initial family and friend round. Our mission is to simplify the lost property management and, of course, make it more efficient. Next slide. So the problem that we have addressed is that every day hundreds of thousands of valuables are lost and found all over the world. This is a problem for company, but also for passenger and citizen. The lost property service for company is managed still in an old-fashioned way. Most of companies still use Excel files, paper sheet. And what we have been doing, we have been interviewing company and passenger and trying to understand if the companies were meeting customer expectations in terms of repatriating lost property. Next slide. So in base on this interview, we have created our solution, which is a cloud platform made up by 3 tools, an app, a web app, which is used by the company staff to log all the items that they find from different countries, different venues, a centralized content management system to manage and orchestrate the return requests coming from passenger and citizen, and then we customize the software from end. We do white labels for company, for the citizen and passenger to search for the lost item. So this is the right moment for Find My Lost, because company have digitized most of their services, and lost properties was one of the services that was still really behind. Next slide. So what we do, we actually customize the software based on the company process. So we adapt the software to the process. Also, if there are different locations, sub-location, different company with different countries, speaking different languages. And we also do the white label, as I said, to make it branded with the company branding. The company has the advantage to enhance the customer experience. Actually, they cut cost and generate revenue coming in from the recovery fee they charge to passenger, and they increase operational efficiency. From a consumer point of view, of course, there is a new touch point with the company. They don't have to waste time in calling and writing emails. Next slide. Our business model is B2B, so we offer the service to company charging a setup plus a monthly recurring fee, or we do revenue sharing of the recovery fee that are charged to passenger. And we do a markup on shipping. For the B2C model, it's free, and we have a markup on shippings. Next slide. The target market is quite big, actually 1.1 billion in Europe, and it's spread among the main countries. So there is, a good opportunity. And as I said before, the company is they can use this software are really spread in different sectors. Next slide. Just to show some metrics, for example, of Italia, where we offer our service in Italy, both to intercity, freight and regional trains or Naples Airport. We have really good feedbacks coming from passenger, which experience a totally new way of getting back their item. We have also seen that they do a lot of searches online. So this for the company represents a cut in phone calls and emails for their call center. And also the return rate has been much higher. And for example, we have done also plus 100% of return rate. This means that they gain a lot more money coming from the recovery fee. Next slide. This is our team. I am the founder. I have two co-founders. I'm the only one working full-time. The co-founder have supported mainly at the beginning. And we have a team for software development and a team of business development divided by sector. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Elena. So please, Fabio, do you have a question?
Yes, hope you hear me well. Ciao Elena, nice to meet again.
How are you?
I think now the COVID or the post-COVID world has changed dramatically the way people travel, and people anyway take advantage of public transportation in general. So how do you think your solution can possibly be taken advantage by this new post-COVID world? Because in my view, there might be some new ideas that could be considered to facilitate also the way people travel.
Yes, of course, traveling, people losing things. Of course, in the past, many people, they went in person to pick up the items. Now, I mean, this is an unnecessary trip. So probably company would like to digitalize faster this area in order to, provide to passenger the possibility to search from remote and buy shipping and not go in person to ask for the question and then avoid the contacts. This is probably the opportunity at this time.
Thank you. And maybe Peter, if you have a question.
My question would be, you target like transportation companies. Have you ever thought about targeting also like consumer good companies? I'm aware of a couple of companies that basically add tax to their premium consumer goods for having them recovered. This is something you ever considered also going to brands directly?
Do you mean, for example, shipping companies that at the moment they having?
No, it's luxury goods, like luxury glasses engraved with like IDs. So when I lose it and somebody finds it, I can recover it. And it's a service offered by companies, brand companies.
Okay, no, we haven't considered, but maybe I would like to deepen this. What we have been considering is, at this time we have been seeing, for example, as I was mentioning before, a lot of companies increasing shippings and they lose their stuff while shipping. So we are also contacting this shipping company to provide them a solution to support when they lose the goods. Let's say, for example, DHL, which is a law anyway among the other company, among the shipping company, they have a low loss rate. However, they confirm that maybe sometimes the tags are lost and they don't know who's the item anymore. So this could be also a platform provided to this kind of company to try to understand who was the buyer and ship it back, or who was the sender.
Thank you. If any other investor has a question, it's the moment. Okay, so thank you very much, Elena. Before going to Jason Weiss with my colleague and the COO of Axis Innovation, I would like just to give you the answers to our last poll. In fact, we tried to celebrate Italy today. So we have very good information about what happened in this country. For example, the batteries were invented in Italy by Volta, if I'm not mistaken. Christopher Columbus was Italian, and Italians invented also eyeglasses. So if you're interested by this answer, you're more than welcome to search more about it. So please, Jason, if you want to ask a question from the audience.
Sure, thank you so much. So we received some interesting questions, and for the sake of time, I will just go one, which is a generic question to the investors, and I think it's very relevant for all the entrepreneurs out here. It's about deal making internationally with the lack of travel as we have today. So basically, would you be willing to do a deal without meeting an entrepreneur in person? And what advice would you give to a startup who is fundraising? And this is one of the biggest issues they're facing, as we saw from our first poll, is fundraising, how they can best approach investors or deal with this situation when it's hard to meet people in person. And perhaps if all the investors could give a very brief answer to that.
Yeah, maybe you can start. So we're going to close a deal by end of May, so without actually being able to travel because he's not in France. So we're going to do this. We are doing this. One of the challenges is probably how to actually spend time with the founders and his team or her team. Even like maybe not necessarily related to job and business. I think one of the challenges for our industry is to really sense and understand the founders also outside the business related stuff. So try to socialize, try to get a sense of what type of people they are, what type of values they're after. This is probably one of the challenges that we are confronted with while not being able to meet in person people. So my suggestion is really to find the multiple ways to actually search and interact with people, even through Zoom, through video conferences, because that, in a way, it's a new normal way to interact, and we need to get more and more used to, especially for those of us that are investing overseas. Because for some months, probably travel will be banned or very unlikely. So yeah, that's my bit.
This is Melissa. Maybe I can add over the last, sorry, would you like to go ahead?
No, go ahead. I can go next.
Okay, Sergey. We at Arbor, we actually look back and we have made 2 investments over the last 3 years where we had not met the CEO in person before investing. But what we did realize is that they had come highly recommended, and we did a lot of reference checking. What we're working on now is clearly it's going to change in venture. The idea of me traveling 250,000 miles a year is over with. So we're working a lot on looking at different ways to get to know CEOs and the characteristics that are important to us, as well as analyzing body language on Zoom, as we would do if we were in a face-to-face meeting. So I think we all have to get used to the new norm, but I think that this is also a great time to start a company and just realize, you know, we probably have 24 months ahead of us where it's going to be challenging. But I would just encourage entrepreneurs to get to know people over a period of time. So even if you're not fundraising, reach out to some VCs who you think are going to be, you know, some targets, and try to get to know them and try to get introductions through people that you do know. Because I think it's just going to take a longer period of time for people to get comfortable to pull the trigger when you haven't met face to face. But that is the new norm for us as far as I'm concerned for the venture industry for a while.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Sergey, yes?
Yeah, I can add to it. I mean, because of our kind of completely distributed structure, we pretty much never had a deal where all partners met with entrepreneur face to face. So usually we do like partners calls with entrepreneur over Zoom, even in normal time. We did, even before the COVID, we did a couple investments where we haven't physically met with founders, and out of 3 investments we closed in the last month, 1 we never met founders other than Zoom. But yeah, I agree with everybody who said you just need a little bit more communication online than you usually need offline. So you kind of, maybe you do an extra kind of Zoom call. We do a lot of reference checking. We always reference checks on founders, so you kind of maybe need a little bit more time, a little bit more effort to to feel comfortable with founders, but I don't think there is that much difference between like offline and online investing.
Thank you, Sergey. I think we've made a miracle today because we had a lot of presentation, a lot of speakers, and we are just 1 minute after the time we were planning. So thank you very much to all the speakers coming today, joining us from 6 different places around the world. Thank you for the presenting, to the presenting startups. It was really interesting to hear you. In the audience, you come from 33 countries today. So if you have any question to anyone, we'll be very happy to take them at Axis and to make the connections. And thank you to the Axis team who made this event possible. As we said, we try to now go back to a new normal, and we think that creating these international communities is really a way for us to continue this work. So thank you very much to everyone, and very happy to meet you soon somewhere in the world, and also in our webinars. So thank you again. Bye.